The first thing Elena saw when she opened her eyes was a stranger sobbing over her hand. The second thing she saw was blood on his shirt. The third was the terror in his face when he realized she was awake. "Don't say his name," the man whispered, leaning so close she could smell rain on his coat and hospital disinfectant on his skin. "If Marcus finds out you woke up before we're ready, he will kill you." Her throat burned. Every breath felt borrowed. Her tongue was thick. Machines blinked in green and blue around her, steady little lies pretending everything was safe. She tried anyway. "Marcus." The man flinched like she had stabbed him. "No," his voice cracked. "I'm Jonah." If stories like this make you feel every betrayal and every second of hope, subscribe, like the video, because this one doesn't let go. And the truth hiding in this room is only the beginning. Elena stared at him, trying to force her mind through the fog. Dark beard, hollow cheeks, red eyes. He looked like a man who had been losing sleep for years. And then memory hit her in splinters. A black road, rain. Her sister's name flashing on her phone. Marcus shouting. A steering wheel jerking hard in her hands. Then nothing. She tried to sit up. Pain exploded from her chest to her skull, and she gasped. Jonah was already there, easing her back down. "Slow, please. You've been in a coma for 5 years." For a second, the room stopped existing. The word didn't land. It hovered, meaningless, unreal. Then it sank. 5 years. Her lips trembled. "No. I wish I was lying." "Elena?" She turned toward the doorway so fast the world tilted. A nurse stood there, staring at the monitor, then at Elena's open eyes. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God." Jonah moved between them immediately. "Nina, shut the door." The nurse did, but her face had gone white. "He's downstairs." Jonah's jaw locked. Elena looked from one to the other. "Who?" They answered together. "Marcus." Something cold moved through her veins. Jonah crouched beside her. "Listen to me. Right now, nobody knows you're awake except us. Not the doctor on shift, not the front desk, not your husband. And that needs to stay that way for the next few minutes." "My husband wouldn't." "Your husband stopped being your husband a long time ago." The cruelty of the sentence hit harder because Jonah said it with tears still drying on his face. Nina came closer and gently checked Elena's pupils. "Can you tell me your full name?" "Elena Vale." "Do you know what year it is?" Elena swallowed. 2021? Nina shut her eyes briefly. "It's 2026, Jonah said quietly. Elena stared at the ceiling. 5 years. 5 birthdays. 5 winters. 5 Christmas mornings. 5 years of her daughter growing up without her. "Lily," she whispered, panic igniting all at once. "Where's Lily?" Jonah didn't answer fast enough. That was answer enough. Her voice sharpened. "Where is my daughter?" "She's alive," he said quickly. "She's 17 now." 17. The number broke something inside her. "She thinks you're still unconscious," Nina said softly. "She visits less than she used to, but—" "Why less?" Elena asked. Again Jonah hesitated. And again that hesitation was worse than any words. Because deep down, before he even spoke, she already knew the truth would hurt. "Because Marcus told her you stopped fighting," Jonah said. He spent years telling her some people choose not to come back. Elena's eyes flooded. No. I'm sorry. No. She shook her head, then winced from the pain. Marcus would never say that to her. Jonah stood up so fast the chair behind him scraped across the floor. Anger flashed through the grief on his face. You still believe that man is who he pretended to be? I don't even know who you are. He looked at her for a long second, almost like he had expected that to hurt less. Then he nodded once. Fair. He pulled a wallet from his back pocket, opened it, and held out an old, creased photo. In it, Elena stood in a sunflower field, younger, laughing, with one arm around a little girl missing a front tooth, and the other around two brothers who looked nothing alike except for their eyes. Marcus in a clean white shirt. Jonah in grease-stained coveralls, grinning like he didn't know life could turn on him. Her breath caught. Jonah, she whispered. Her husband's younger brother. The screw-up mechanic Marcus used to drag to family dinners like a warning to everyone else. The man Marcus called unreliable, embarrassing, broken. But in the photo, Jonah's arm was around Lily, and Lily was leaning into him. I used to fix your car, he said. You used to bring me coffee when Marcus forgot to pay me on time. You always took the extra chair at the garage office because you said my waiting room magazines were older than dinosaurs. More pieces moved inside her head. Motor oil. His laugh. A little silver wrench keychain Lily used to steal from his counter. You remember me now? Yes. Good. His voice lowered. Then remember this, too. The night you crashed, you were on your way to confront Marcus. The memory flashed sharper this time. Not a road. A file. A folder in her lap. Bank statements. A charity account. Her father's foundation. Money missing. And Claire. Claire's name on a transfer. Elena's pulse spiked. Oh my God. Jonah saw it in her face. You found something, didn't you? Before she could answer, footsteps sounded in the hall. Nina went rigid. He's here. Jonah's head snapped to the door. Can she fake it? Nina whispered. Elena barely had time to understand the question. Jonah leaned over her, urgent now. Close your eyes. Slow your breathing. Whatever happens, do not react. Not to his voice, not to his touch. Nothing. Fear crawled up Elena's spine. Jonah, trust me. Just once. Trust me. Then he slipped behind the privacy curtain near the window. Nina dimmed the lights, adjusted the sheet, and by the time the door opened, Elena's eyes were shut. She heard polished shoes. A pause. Then a voice she had once trusted more than her own. My poor girl. Marcus. His hand brushed her hair back from her forehead. Elena wanted to scream. Instead, she stayed still and listened. You picked a dramatic night, didn't you? He murmured. Almost over, Mr. Vale. I won't be long. He sat down. Elena felt the mattress dip under his weight. There was a softness in his tone that would have fooled anyone who didn't know the way monsters learned to sound gentle. The court hearing went well today, he said. Another week and the trustees stop asking questions. Isn't that a relief? A buzzing started in Elena's ears. Trustees. Questions. He leaned closer. Claire thinks I'm being too cautious. She always did want things faster than I do. Claire. Her sister. It felt like drowning without water. Marcus exhaled, almost amused. You should see Lily now. 17, stubborn, beautiful. She has your eyes when she cries, which is inconvenient because she still does that after our fights. A tiny chuckle. But she'll get over tonight. They always do. Elena's fingernails dug into her palm beneath the sheet. What fight? What did you do? Marcus's voice dropped so low, it was nearly a purr. I've carried you long enough, Elena. 5 years is a respectable amount of grief. Nobody questions a man for moving on after that. They admire him for surviving it. The room spun even with her eyes closed. He kissed her forehead and whispered the sentence that turned her blood to ice. If you wake up now, I lose everything. His chair scraped back. Nina said something about time. The door opened, closed. Silence. Then the curtain moved, and Jonah came out looking like he wanted to break every bone in the building. Elena opened her eyes. The world was blurry from tears she hadn't been allowed to shed. Claire, she whispered. He said Claire. Jonah nodded once, grim. Your sister married him 2 years ago. Elena forgot how to breathe. No rage came first, no scream. Just this terrible, empty silence inside her, like her whole body was listening to the echo of a life being stolen. Nina gripped the bed rail. Elena, stay with me. My sister. Her mouth twisted, trying to form words her heart refused to believe. My sister married my husband? Small private ceremony, Jonah said. Not public at first. They announced it last year. Elena turned her face away. There are pains so sharp they arrive clean. Then there are pains so deep they don't feel like pain at all. They feel like absence. 5 years gone. A daughter grown. A sister in her place. A husband waiting for one more signature before he buried her for good. Jonah held up his phone. I know this is cruel, but you need to see what he built while you were asleep. She wanted to say no, needed to say no, but she nodded. He played a video clip from a gala stage. Marcus in a tuxedo, Claire in silver beside him. Reporters smiling. A banner behind them read, The Elena Vale Foundation for Children. Elena stared, horrified. Marcus took the microphone. My wife taught me that love is sacrifice. Even now, in silence, she inspires this work. Applause. Then another clip. Lily, taller now, standing stiffly beside Marcus at a memorial fundraiser, trying not to cry. Marcus had his hand on her shoulder like a vice. A reporter asked, Do you still visit your mother? Lily gave a small, careful smile that looked practiced and broken at the same time. Sometimes the hardest part of loving someone is accepting they're not coming back. Elena made a sound she had never heard come out of her own body. Not a sob, not a scream, something raw. Jonah lowered the phone immediately. I'm sorry. She thinks I left her. No, Jonah said. She thinks you couldn't choose her. The distinction was somehow worse. Nina checked the hall again. If Marcus heard any change in the monitors, he'll circle back. We need a plan now. Jonah looked at Elena. I can get you out of this room before dawn. Out where? Somewhere Marcus doesn't control. Why are you helping me? The question landed like a slap. Jonah didn't defend himself. He deserved that much. Because when he answered, he did it with his eyes on the floor. Because 5 years ago, Marcus brought your SUV to my shop, the afternoon before the crash. Elena went still. He said you were hearing a scraping noise. He needed it done fast. Jonah swallowed hard. I replaced a worn brake fitting, signed the work order. That night, your brakes failed on the hill road. Elena stared at him, nausea climbing. No. I spent years wondering if I missed something. If I killed you because I was tired and stupid and trying too hard to prove to Marcus I wasn't the screw-up he said I was. His voice broke. The police made me the reason. Marcus made sure of that. I lost my license, lost the garage, lost everything. And I still would have carried it forever. Except 3 months ago, Nina called me after Marcus ordered your records transferred to a hospice unit. Nina's face tightened. He wanted an end-of-life review. Elena turned to her. Meaning? Nina didn't soften it. Meaning, he was preparing to let you die. Jonah met Elena's eyes again, and there was no self-pity in them, only shame. So yes, maybe I'm helping because I owe you. Maybe I'm helping because I should have fought sooner. But mostly, Elena, I'm helping because I heard your daughter cry outside this room on your birthday last year. And I can't listen to that child break one more time. For the first time since waking up, Elena believed him completely. And for the first time, that made her even more afraid. By sunrise, she was in a wheelchair, weak as paper, covered in Jonah's old coat, with Mina pushing and Jonah walking beside them like a man escorting a secret through enemy territory. Every elevator ding sounded dangerous. Every voice in the corridor made Elena flinch. At the side exit, cool air hit her face and she closed her eyes. It felt like being born and buried at the same time. Jonah drove her to a small apartment above what used to be his garage. The sign outside was gone. The metal shutters were rusted. Inside, everything smelled faintly of dust and coffee and loneliness. He settled her carefully on the couch. This is all I've got. It's enough. He handed her water with a straw and some dry toast she could barely swallow. Her hands trembled so badly he had to steady the glass. You need rest, he said. I need Lily. He rubbed his jaw. Marcus drops her at St. Agnes every Thursday evening for volunteer hours. She tutors kids there. What day is it? Thursday. Elena looked at the window. The sky was already dimming. Take me. Jonah hesitated. You can barely stand. I missed 5 years. I'm done missing anything. The church basement smelled like crayons and wet coats. Laughter echoed from one room. Tiny sneakers squeaked across the floor. Elena clutched Jonah's arm as they stood near the back hallway, hidden by a bulletin board covered in children's drawings. And then she saw her. Lily was kneeling beside a little girl at a folding table, helping her sound out words in a picture book. Her hair was longer, darker, her face thinner. But when she tucked one side behind her ear, Elena's knees almost gave out. It was the same gesture. Her baby girl. Her whole heart standing 10 feet away, alive and unaware. Elena started toward her. Jonah caught her elbow. Slow. But it was too late. Lily had looked up. Their eyes met. Time cracked open. Lily stood so fast her chair fell over. For one breathtaking second, Elena thought instinct would win, that blood would know blood, that some buried thread between mother and child would pull tight enough to overcome 5 stolen years. Instead, Lily stepped back. Confusion hit first, then fear, then something far more painful. Recognition mixed with disbelief. "Mom?" Elena burst into tears. "Lily!" A teacher turned. Kids looked up. The room went quiet. Lily's eyes filled instantly, but she didn't move forward. She looked at Jonah, then back at Elena, like she was trying to solve a trick designed to humiliate her. "No," Lily whispered. "No, this is sick. It's me." Marcus's daughter learned caution before she learned healing. "You look like her," Lily said, shaking now. "But my mom is in the hospital." "I was. I woke up." "You're lying." Elena took another step and nearly collapsed from weakness. Jonah steadied her. That made everything worse. Lily's face hardened in panic. "You brought him?" "Of course you brought him. Dad said you'd do something like this." Elena froze. "Dad said what?" "That if anyone ever came pretending..." Lily's voice cracked. "He said people use grief to hurt families. He said Jonah hated us." Jonah opened his mouth, then shut it. There was nothing he could say that wouldn't sound like defense. Elena tried again. "Lily, sweetheart, when you were 6, you swallowed a marble because you thought magicians could hide the moon in their mouths." Lily's tears spilled. "When you were 9, you cut your own hair the night before school pictures and begged me not to tell your dad because he said crooked bangs were a personality flaw." A tiny, broken laugh escaped Lily before she could stop it. Elena pressed a shaking hand to her chest. "When thunderstorms scared you, I used to count between lightning and thunder and tell you the sky was just moving furniture." Now Lily looked destroyed. Now she believed. And somehow, belief was not the thing that brought them together. It was the thing that made her angriest. "You woke up now?" Lily said, voice rising. "Now? After all this time?" The children in the room were being guided out by the teacher. No one interrupted. "I'm sorry," Elena whispered. Lily let out a bitter sound that did not belong in a 17-year-old girl. "Do you know how many times I begged you to wake up?" Elena couldn't speak. "I came every day that first year. Every day." Lily's shoulders were shaking. "I told you about my braces, my first dance, my panic attacks. I told you when Aunt Claire moved into our house and said it was temporary. I told you when Dad started sleeping in your room with her door closed. I told you I hated him for it. I told you I hated myself for needing him anyway." Elena's vision blurred. Lily dragged in a breath like it hurt. "On my 15th birthday, I sat next to your bed for 3 hours because Claire said you'd want to hear me sing even if you couldn't answer. I sang until my throat bled, Mom." Her voice shattered completely. "You didn't wake up." Elena folded in on herself. That was the heartbreak. Not the affair, not the stolen money, not even the 5 years. It was hearing what her daughter had carried alone. "I'm here now," Elena said. Lily wiped at her face hard, angry at her own tears. "Are you? Because every time I needed you, you weren't." Then she turned and ran. Elena tried to follow. Her body gave out before the second step. She hit the hallway floor on her knees, choking on a sob while Jonah knelt beside her and the church lights buzzed overhead like nothing holy had happened at all. Back at the apartment, Elena sat in the dark for an hour without moving. Jonah left tea near her. She didn't touch it. Finally, he said, "She believed you." Elena stared ahead.
And she still walked away. She's 17 and bleeding from wounds Marcus fed every day. Belief doesn't heal that in 1 minute. She laughed once, ugly and empty. Do you know what the cruelest part is? She had every right. Jonah said nothing, because he knew she was right. Then Elena turned toward him slowly. I remembered something else. He straightened. The folder. Her voice steadied. The night of the crash, I found proof Marcus was draining my father's foundation through shell accounts. One of them was in Claire's name. Her eyes narrowed. I called Claire. She told me to meet her. Said she'd explain. Jonah's expression darkened. Did she? I don't know. I never got there. A knock slammed against the apartment door. Jonah's hand instantly went under the table where he kept a wrench. Another knock. Then a voice. Open up. It's me. Claire. Elena went cold. Jonah looked at her. Your call.
For 1 second, Elena almost said no. Then she remembered Marcus's hand on Lily's shoulder. The way he said she still cried after their fights. Let her in. Claire stepped inside, wearing a camel coat worth more than Jonah's couch and sunglasses even though it was night. But the second she took them off, Elena saw the bruise under one eye. They both stared at each other. Sisters. Strangers. Ruins. Claire's lower lip trembled. You're really awake. Elena stood using the arm of the couch. Weak or not, she refused to meet her sister sitting down. How long? She asked. Claire blinked. What? How long were you sleeping with my husband? Claire flinched like honesty could still save her. Before the crash, Elena said. Or after you decided I was convenient furniture. Jonah stepped back toward the kitchen, but not far. Claire looked at the floor. Before. The word landed clean and lethal. Elena, listen. No, you listen. Elena's voice rose for the first time, raw with years she never got to live. My daughter called you Aunt Claire while you were climbing into my bed. My father trusted you with his name while you helped steal from his foundation. So you don't get tears. You don't get excuses. You get one chance to tell me why you're here before I make Jonah throw you out. Claire lifted her chin, but it was a weak attempt at dignity. Because Marcus is planning to move Lily to Switzerland tonight. Elena's heart lurched. What? He says it's for school. It isn't. He knows you woke up. Jonah cursed. How? Claire swallowed. He went back to the hospital after you disappeared. Nina is missing too. He put it together. Elena's stomach dropped. Nina. She's alive, Claire said quickly. At least she was when I left. He had security looking for her. Why help me now? Elena snapped. Claire's face crumpled, but Elena didn't care. Because I was stupid enough to think being chosen meant being loved. And because yesterday he told me if Lily kept questioning him, he'd send her somewhere she couldn't interfere. I said, she's a child. He said, children are movable. Claire looked up, horrified by her own memory. That man is not normal, Elena. No, Elena said. He was just better at hiding it than you were. Claire reached into her bag with shaking hands and pulled out a thick envelope. These are copies of the insurance policy he took out on you 3 weeks before the crash. And the transfer documents he forged after your accident. Her breath hitched. There's more. The night you called me, Marcus heard me tell you I knew about the accounts. He took my phone. He said he would handle it. Later that night, he came home soaked in rain and said you missed the turn on Miller Road because you were emotional. She looked Elena dead in the eyes. Last month, after too much whiskey, he told me you never missed the turn. The room went still. What did he say? Jonah asked. Claire's voice dropped to a whisper. He said, "It's amazing what a cut brake line can do to a marriage." Jonah closed his eyes like the sentence hit him in the chest. Elena's hand went to her mouth. Claire started crying. "I didn't know he'd do that. I swear to God, I didn't know." Elena believed her and hated that she did. Because sometimes the people who destroy your life don't arrive with knives. Sometimes they arrive selfish, hungry, vain, and weak. And weakness opens the door for evil just fine. Marcus is announcing his mayoral run tonight at the Foundation Gala, Claire said. The whole city will be there. If you're going to expose him, that's your only chance before he gets Lily on that plane. Jonah looked at Elena. You're in no condition. Elena wiped her face. I don't need condition, she said. I need my daughter. The gala glittered with chandeliers and expensive smiles. 5 years ago, Elena had chosen the centerpieces for this ballroom herself. Tonight she entered through the service corridor in a black coat Claire had brought from her own car, her legs shaking under every step. Jonah stayed at her side. On stage, Marcus stood at the podium under a giant photograph of Elena from before the crash, smiling, radiant, alive in the exact way he needed her to remain, silent and useful. Lily stood near the front table in a pale dress, face blank, passport envelope in her hand. Claire lingered by a pillar, terrified. Marcus raised his glass. To resilience, he said, toasting a room full of people who had never seen the man behind closed doors. To carrying grief with grace. Elena stepped into the light. Then carry this. Gasps rolled through the ballroom. Marcus's glass slipped from his fingers and shattered on the stage. Lily turned. For a moment, the whole world narrowed to her face. Mom? Marcus recovered fast. Too fast. Everyone stay calm, he said into the microphone, wearing concern like tailored fabric. My wife has suffered a profound neurological event. She's confused. A murmur moved through the crowd. Elena kept walking. No, she said. I was confused 5 years ago. Tonight, I'm clear. Marcus descended from the stage, palms out, performing gentleness. Elena, sweetheart, you need medical attention. Don't call me that. He lowered his voice, close enough now that only the nearest tables heard him. You have no idea what you're doing. Elena looked straight at Lily. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm coming back for my daughter. Marcus laughed softly and turned to the audience. You see? Delusion and fixation are common after long-term comas. Jonah stepped forward. Funny, so is attempted murder. Now the room truly erupted. Marcus pointed at him instantly. This man is unstable. He has a documented history of negligence and addiction. Jonah took the hit without blinking. Say the rest. Tell them who signed off on the brake repair because you rushed me. Tell them who lost everything while you played grieving husband on camera. Marcus sneered. You ruined her life. Jonah's face hardened. No, I helped you ruin it. That's the difference. And I've had 5 years to choke on it. He pulled out his phone and handed it to the event technician by the soundboard. Play track 1. Marcus lunged. Too late. His own voice filled the ballroom through the speakers. If you wake up now, I lose everything. Silence exploded. Marcus's head snapped toward the booth. Then, Claire's voice cut through the room. He said more than that. Every eye turned. Claire walked forward, hands shaking so badly she nearly dropped the envelope. Marcus stared at her in disbelief. Claire! She kept going, tears streaming. He forged Elena's transfers. He stole foundation money through shell accounts in my name. And he told me he cut her brake line. Marcus's face changed, not to fear, to rage. The mask slipped right there in front of everyone. You stupid woman. He reached for Claire's arm. Lily stepped between them. That was the first brave thing she'd done all night. Don't touch her. Marcus looked at his daughter, and for the first time his control cracked. Move. Lily didn't. You were sending me away, she said, voice trembling but loud. Because she woke up. This is for your protection. No, Lily whispered. It's for yours. Elena started toward them, but Marcus grabbed Lily's wrist so hard she cried out. And that was it. The room turned. Not because of evidence, not because of money, because everyone in that ballroom finally saw what power looked like when it forgot to pretend. Jonah crossed the distance in 2 strides and tore Marcus's hand off Lily. Security rushed in. Marcus shouted, struggled, cursed, tried to turn it back into confusion and conspiracy and grief. But then, Nina appeared at the ballroom doors with 2 police officers and a bandage above her temple. And suddenly, there was nowhere left for him to hide. As they pulled him away, he twisted toward Elena with murder in his eyes. I should have made sure. The entire room heard it. That was the end. Not the handcuffs, not the headlines that came after. That sentence. The truth never sounds elegant when it finally loses. Later, when the ballroom had emptied and the flashbulbs were gone, Elena sat on the edge of the stage because her legs could no longer hold her. Lily stood a few feet away, arms wrapped around herself, looking younger than 17 and older than childhood. I don't know how to do this, Lily admitted. Elena nodded through tears. Neither do I. That finally made Lily look at her. I'm angry at you. I know. I'm angry that you weren't there. I know. I'm angry that I still needed him sometimes. Elena's face broke. Baby, that was survival, not betrayal. Lily started crying again, quieter this time, realer. Elena opened her arms, but didn't move. The choice had to belong to Lily. For one terrible second, Elena thought she wouldn't take it. Then Lily crossed the distance and folded into her mother so hard they both almost fell. Elena held her with everything she had left. 5 years disappeared and did not disappear. That's the truth of these things. Love returns. Time doesn't. Across the room, Jonah stood near the exit, bruised knuckles, tired eyes, already half-turned like he planned to leave before anyone thanked him. Elena looked up. Jonah. He stopped. You stayed, she said. He tried to smile and failed. Someone had to. She thought of the photo in the sunflower field, of the screw-up everyone blamed, of the man who had carried guilt like a sentence and still came back for her anyway. I don't know what happens next, she told him. Jonah nodded. You don't have to tonight. Lily, still holding her mother's hand, looked at Jonah too. Really looked at him. And with a voice small as forgiveness, she said, "Thank you for not giving up on her." He swallowed hard and looked away. Outside, sirens faded into the distance. Inside, the giant portrait of Elena still hung over the dark stage, smiling from a life that had been stolen. Elena looked at it for a long moment, then at her daughter, then at the pieces still left. And she understood something she hadn't known before the crash, before the lies, before the years were taken from her. The worst betrayal is not being hated. It's being replaced while you're still alive. But the strongest kind of love? It comes back for you anyway.